Hello, for everyone who doesn't know me, I'm Lucy. I'm a graphic designer, owner of Lucy Graphics, and I have recently opened myself up to my spiritual journey that I've been on for a while, but have only recently accepted it as of about 3 years ago. And I wanted to talk about a journey I did yesterday into the Akashic Records. Now, if you don't know what the Akashic Records is, it's like a place where we can tap into and we can see our past, our present, our future, what could be, and knowledge that is just tucked away and stored in there that you can tap into and help yourself in so many different ways. Now, on this occasion yesterday, I did a guided meditation with Julianna Whitlow, and my intention going in was to really understand my connection with longing. Now, specifically with my mother and my grandmother, because it was just the energy I felt I needed to go into. And we were also going in to tap into our feminine energy, healing our maternal line. And we also did a chakra cleanse during this guided meditation. So I specifically went in with the intention to see this, why my mom, which I saw this in her, had this longing to see her mom. Now, I understood it as she hadn't seen her mom in so many years, that this longing was because of distance, right? Logically, that's the first place I go to. And the same for me. My mom has now moved away. She's very far. I haven't seen her physically in a long time, just through video or phone calls. So I wanted to tap into this feeling, of longing and where it really rooted from and stemmed from. So we went into the meditation. I'm going to close my eyes because I want to try and visualize exactly what I did yesterday. So we were in an open field, and off in the distance there was a giant, beautiful oak tree. So I headed down to the oak tree and touched its bark, just really embraced its energy. And then we began to climb. So Juliana instructed us to climb this tree. So I started climbing this beautiful giant oak tree, holding onto the branches, making my way up to the top of the tree. Now, I have to mention ahead of time, we used a tool called open circular breath. So you're taking deep breaths in and out through your mouth, but you're not holding. You're just breathing in and out, and this gives you a sort of out-of-body experience. So I'm climbing the tree. When I get to the top of the tree, my body flips upside down. I'm still hanging on to the branch at the top of the tree, but I'm now floating, because apparently when I reached the top of the tree, I was actually in outer space. Okay. I was floating, hanging onto this branch, and off in the distance there was a doorway. It was like a white glowing doorway, no door or anything. It was just white and glowing, and there was a path leading to it, just like a transparent white path leading to the doorway. So this was my hallway. So then I headed down my path. I went through this doorway, and I was in a white room, nothing there, just pure whiteness all around. So I kept going. There was a guard at the end of this white space in front of the door. So I told him my intention, what I wanted to know about my mother, grandmother, potentially why we had this sense of feeling of longing, right? So I gave him my intention. He opened the door, and when I stepped through it, I was in a village somewhere in Mexico. It was hot, it was dry, and the person that greeted me, I felt like it was my grandmother when she was younger, or maybe my age. So she greeted me, she was very nice. And I've dove into the Akashic records before, and this woman greets me, and she's so nice to me, and she gives me a hug. She's like, hi, welcome back, every single time. This time it was my grandmother. So my grandmother is still living, she's still here. But this energy was very much her energy, and now I'm thinking back, like, what if it's always been her energy waiting for me every time? But anyway, I was greeted by her, and then right away I was taken to see her packing up her things, packing up to move away. So I saw her moving from that little village that she was in, leaving her family behind, her mother, and moving with her husband and kids, right? Moving away. So from what I know logically, my grandmother moved from one state to another state. So from this town to a city. Now, I've never asked her details. Now I'm going to call her and ask her, for more details. So I saw her moving from this village to this city. And the whole time she was telling her kids, I'm doing this to give you a better opportunity, a better life. I'm doing this for your own good. So she moved there. And then I immediately saw my mother doing the same thing. So around the same age, doing the same thing, packing up everything and moving away. So to here, the US. So I saw her do the same thing, saying goodbye to her mother to move away. So I'm already seeing the pattern, right? And then I saw myself, because I've done this so many times. I've moved away from here, the hometown I keep moving back to. I keep moving back here, but I move out of state. I move out of the city. I keep moving away, because every time I move away with the thought in my head that I'm moving away for a better opportunity, for a way of life. That's why I've moved away. I've moved out of state. I've moved to a new city. I've done this so many times, thinking that I have to go away to find this new opportunity. But I saw the pattern. I saw where it started from. I saw how it got passed down to me. This idea, this belief that I had to move somewhere far to improve, to better myself, to find a better opportunity. There was this thing in the back of my mind that that's what I had to do every time. So in this moment where I'm realizing the pattern, and I'm realizing that that's exactly why I've moved away so many times and moved back for family, so I was brought back to doing what I'm doing now, my new spiritual journey, energy healing, reading tarot. I was being shown what I'm doing in the present moment. And I was brought to the realization that this thing I need to move on and progress and make these new opportunities for myself and my family are within me. I don't need to move far. I don't need to move out of state or out of the city to get this opportunity or find this opportunity, because it's all inside of me. So let me go back in my notes, because I don't want to get sidetracked. So in this moment, when I realized that this was all within me, a sudden feeling of guilt came over me when I watched myself pulling tarot cards, because I grew up Catholic, and this hasn't been in the back of my mind the whole time before even jumping back in to doing tarot. Is this Catholic guilt that I'm a sinner, that this is demonic, that I shouldn't be doing this. The instant that thought crossed my mind, I was taken way, way further back to my ancestors being colonized. Their culture being, the books being burned, people being beaten and killed in the streets to create fear among them, to force them to adopt this religion. And the only reason people were adopting it and following along was because they were afraid. They did it for survival. They didn't want to die. That's why so I was being shown all of this, and I was the one person so in this crowd, right, I was the one person telling everyone, do it, we need to do it, to survive, we need to do it so we can stay alive, so we can stay together, just do what they say. But we need to continue our culture. We need, even if it's in secret, we need to keep this alive. Don't forget who you are, where you came from. So I was like encouraging people to adopt the religion, but to keep our culture alive and pass it on and whatnot. And right after, doing all that, I was taken to, when my mom was explaining herbs and teas and remedies to me, and what teas you're supposed to drink, what teas you should never drink, which ones help with inflammation. So all this herbal knowledge she passed down to me. And that's just so beautiful. So I was like seeing this knowledge being passed down to me, and then I was taken back again to this field, and there was a pyramid, and someone was explaining, we need to adopt this new religion, for their invisible God, is exactly what he said, because we need to survive. But we have, we can never forget what we've grown up to know to be fact, and that is, so at this point they were like breaking all these statues and the gods that they had, and just tearing them apart. And he was talking about the sun. He was saying, don't forget what nature has given us. The sun gives us food. He makes our food grow so that we may eat it and nourish our bodies. And the sun gives us warmth. Don't forget the knowledge of your ancestors. So he was explaining this to a big group of us, but also telling us that we needed to listen, that we needed to obey, that we needed to follow this new religion that they didn't understand. Because so I saw this priest like in the middle of a town square or something, speaking in Latin to a native, and the native was translating the words to the people, and everybody just looking confused because there was some kind of message gap, like everything was lost in translation. Nobody understood, and they were just confused. They were like looking up like confused, not understanding, but still obeying these new rules just to survive. And this was a moment where we began to like pull back our energy and start leaving and whatnot. And the last message I remember getting to take with me, and I want to quote it exactly how I heard it. I wrote it down. I didn't want to forget. The guy that was explaining to us about the sun and don't forget, where you came from, said, "No olvides tus raíces," which means don't forget your roots. Now, at the beginning of this whole meditation, my root chakra was so dense and stiff. And your root chakra is also what holds everything that gets passed down to you from your lineage, your family. It's in the root chakra. So he said, don't forget your roots. And all of this just came together for me. Like, no matter what I do, don't forget your roots, and to keep this knowledge and love of nature and all this that was unknowingly, unconsciously passed down to me, to keep it alive, to not forget where I came from. And this whole thing was eye-opening to me because for the past few weeks, I've been fighting myself about accepting my spiritual gifts and accepting how I choose to use them. And in choosing to not keep them confined or just used within the church has torn me, has split my heart. But I also know in my heart that this is what I must do. Share my journey, share my experiences, share my knowledge, and everything I believe to know is true and helpful to others. I want to share publicly on platforms where anyone can hear, to share with people outside the church. Because I do feel like my spiritual gifts are God-given in the Catholic sense, because that's how I grew up, that's how I've always seen them. But I don't want to keep them confined. I want to share with everyone everything I know how to do, my energy healing, or read my sinful cards. And although it's torn me, I know in my heart what's right, and I know in my heart what I want to do. And this journey I took yesterday just opened my eyes to everything that has come before me and how the women have moved forward, trying to find this new opportunity or a better way of life elsewhere, far, including myself for so many years, and coming to the realization that that's actually within me, and I did have to travel far. This journey has taken me so far into so many journeys, adventures through meditation, and the growth I've had just diving deep within myself is what's taken me the farthest. So I just wanted to share my journey with you all and everyone, and I just wanted to say, trust your gut, trust your intuition, and follow your heart, because it's really going to take you somewhere wonderful, and you're not going to regret doing it. You're not. And if you need any help, I'm here for you whenever you need to talk.